Welcome to the Inner Ascent, a journey beyond the surface. Each week, we distill powerful insights in mindset, health, personal evolution, and conscious growth. Unlock the layers of your mind, one ascent at a time. In this episode, we explore the fascinating system of human design, a synthesis of ancient wisdom and modern science that reveals your authentic blueprint for life. Discover types, strategies, and authorities, and learn how this operating manual for the soul can guide you toward alignment, empowered decisions, and true fulfillment.
Have you ever felt like you're playing a game, but you don't have the rule book?
Oh, absolutely.
Like there's this incredibly complex machine, your life,
Yeah.
your very self, but you just don't have that user operating manual.
Yeah.
To truly understand why some paths feel, easy, why some choices just click.
And others feel like you're pushing a boulder uphill every single time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That universal desire to truly understand ourselves, to unlock the why behind our unique journey, it's deep, isn't it? A fundamental longing I think we all share.
It really is. It's more than just curiosity. It feels like a profound human need, To align with our deepest truth, imagine having a personalized guide.
Right.
A blueprint that explains your energetic makeup, your strengths, your vulnerabilities, and exactly how you're designed to interact with the world to achieve your purpose and really maximize your potential. That's precisely what we're diving into today.
And that, my friend, is why you're here listening. Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we try to cut through all the noise and hopefully deliver the core insights you need to be truly well-informed.
Get right to it.
Today, we're embarking on this really fascinating journey into human design. It's a system that promises to do just that. Unlock your unique energetic blueprint. And this isn't just another personality quiz you find online.
No, not at all. It's way more comprehensive. A framework designed to show you who you really are, deep down.
So what is human design, really? It sounds complex.
Well, what's truly remarkable about it is its sheer breadth. It doesn't just pull from one tradition. It's more like this magnificent tapestry woven from threads of ancient spiritual wisdom and modern scientific discoveries.
Okay, like what?
Well, we're talking about the profound insights of Western astrology, the philosophical depth of the Chinese I Ching, the energetic mapping of the Hindu Brahman chakra system, the mystical Kabbalah.
Wow, that's a lot already.
Right. And then, strikingly, it integrates cutting-edge scientific understanding, things like quantum physics and even neutrino science.
Neutrinos? Really? How does that fit in?
Well, the idea is that neutrinos are constantly passing through us, carrying information, imprinting us, especially at birth. It's part of how the system calculates your specific design. It's this incredible synthesis, bridging millennia of human inquiry, all aimed at giving you a clearer picture of yourself.
And the origin story.
Yeah.
It's pretty unique too, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Picture this. 1987, on the sun-drenched island of Ibiza, a man named Ra Uruhu, he experienced this intense 8-day encounter with what he described as the voice.
The voice.
Yeah. And it was during this period, this intense download that he received and began to synthesize all of this incredibly complex information into the human design system as we know it today. It's quite the genesis story for what many people now consider their personalized user operating manual for life.
It really is. So our mission here in this deep dive is what exactly?
Our mission is really to extract those core insights, to help you understand how this system aims to empower you to live authentically, discover your purpose, and, truly maximize your potential.
Yeah, because the information out there, it can be incredibly overwhelming, right? Sometimes a bit esoteric.
Definitely. It can feel like trying to drink from a fire hose.
So we're here to simplify, to clarify, and to guide you through its most important practical aspects. What can you actually use?
Okay, so what's the big picture here for you, the listener? Ra Uruhu, the founder. He coined this really powerful phrase for human design, the science of differentiation.
That's a crucial takeaway.
It really is, because it's not about trying to squeeze you into some kind of societal mold or telling you who you should be to find success or happiness.
Exactly. Instead, it's about uncovering what makes you uniquely, wonderfully different. It's about celebrating your individuality and giving you the precise tools to thrive by being exactly who you were born to be.
Not who you were conditioned to become, which is often, a very different person. Such a different person. It's a profound rejection of the one-size-fits-all approach to life, isn't it? This system provides a mirror, reflecting your inherent design, allowing you to hopefully move beyond those external pressures and step into your true self.
It sounds liberating.
It truly is liberating to realize that maybe many of the struggles you face might not be personal failings at all,
Right.
but simply a misalignment with your natural energetic blueprint. You were trying to operate against your own design.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The foundation, the very starting point of your human design journey is your unique chart. It's often called a body graph.
The body graph.
Think of it as your personal energetic fingerprint, a map of your authentic self. And to generate it, you need your exact time, date, and place of birth.
Yeah, that precise birth data is absolutely crucial. It's not just like general astrology.
Why so precise?
Because it allows the system to map out this incredibly detailed picture of your authentic self. It pinpoints the exact cosmic imprinting, the neutrino stream, at the moment you entered the world and took your first breath.
So this chart, it reveals what exactly?
It shows your potential, your life's purpose, your unique superpowers, you could say, and the specific ways you are designed to succeed in the world. It's quite literally a map of your genetic differentiation, showing you where your energy flows consistently and where you're open and receptive to external influences.
Now, a common question, a concern we hear all the time, is about not knowing your exact birth time. What if you can't find it? Does that mean you just can't use human design?
Not necessarily. Don't let that stop you from exploring. First, definitely check your birth certificate. That's usually the most reliable source.
Right, the official document.
If that's not possible, ask your parents or older relatives. Sometimes they remember or have it written down somewhere.
Okay, but what if they don't remember or aren't around?
Then you can try approximating. Think about the general time of day, morning, afternoon, night. Sometimes even plugging in a few different times, maybe 15, 30 minutes apart, and seeing which chart results resonate most deeply with you can give you a good starting point.
Kind of testing the waters.
Exactly. And for people who need really precise clarity, maybe for deeper readings, some professional astrologers actually offer services like birth time rectification to help narrow it down using other life events.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But the goal is to get as close as possible to that precise moment of imprinting, because even a few minutes can shift some significant elements in your chart, particularly the finer details.
Got it. So once you have your chart, your body graph, you look at it.
Yeah.
Well, it can look a bit daunting. Lots of shapes and lines. One of the first things you might notice are these two columns of data, often different colors.
Right. Typically, you'll see some information, usually planetary positions in specific gates listed in black, and some listed in red, or maybe darker boxes versus lighter boxes on some charts.
What's the difference? Black versus red.
The darker boxes, the black ones, represent your conscious personality. These are the traits you readily recognize in yourself, the aspects you identify with. This is who you think you are, your immediate self-perception. Yep, that's me.
Okay, so that's the stuff we're aware of, the qualities we'd probably list if someone asked us to describe ourselves. But then there are the lighter ones, the red boxes. What are those?
Those represent your unconscious personality or your design aspects. These are innate tendencies that profoundly shape your behavior, but often operate completely outside your direct awareness. You don't have conscious access to them in the same way.
Unconscious, so like hidden parts of me.
Sort of. Ra Uru, who had this really powerful analogy for it, comparing it to a car and its driver. He called the personality crystal the part that generates your conscious self, the black stuff. The passenger.
The passenger.
Not the driver. Exactly. The passenger is the part of you that thinks it's driving, that believes it's making all the decisions based on what it sees and thinks. But according to Ra, its true role is actually to observe the life, to be a witness to the journey unfolding.
Whoa. Okay, so if the conscious mind, the personality, is just the passenger observing the ride, what's actually driving the car then?
That's where the design crystal comes in the red stuff. It represents the vehicle itself, the body, your physical form, and its inherent mechanics. And it's driven, or perhaps steered, by something called the magnetic monopole.
Magnetic monopole. Okay, that sounds scientific again.
It's a conceptual element in HD. Think of the magnetic monopole as the ultimate unifier in your system. It holds you together in this illusion of separateness and gives you your unique direction in life, subtly guiding your vehicle through space, without your conscious mind even being aware of it. It's like the chauffeur.
So the mind's role isn't to manage the vehicle, but to observe. And the body, the design, has its own intelligence driving things.
Precisely. The mind's true role, according to Ra, is not to interfere with the vehicle's mechanics or navigation that leads to trouble. It's meant to be the passenger, witnessing the journey, developing wisdom, and maybe becoming a source of outer authority for others, but not your own inner authority for making decisions.
That's a huge reframe. Mind-blowing, actually.
Yeah.
But if we don't consciously recognize these design traits, these red aspects, how do we ever integrate them? How do we even know they're really part of us?
That's a great question. It's absolutely a process, a journey of discovery over time. You usually only begin to accept these unconscious red aspects as traits because other people point them out to you consistently.
Ah, so it's reflected back to us.
Exactly. Someone might say, you're so incredibly intuitive, and you might just brush it off because it's not who you consciously think you are. You don't identify with it.
Right, you might think, no, I'm logical.
Precisely. But if that intuition is deeply wired into your unconscious design, into the red parts of your chart, it's operating anyway. It's shaping your biogenetic vehicle, the package you're living in, whether you're aware of it or not.
So the things people consistently see in us, especially traits we might not immediately claim, those could be our unconscious design showing up.
Very often, yes. That's the powerful insight. Understanding both the conscious, black, and unconscious, red aspects is crucial for grasping your unique blend of energies and truly understanding the full scope of who you are. It's like discovering hidden talents or tendencies you never knew you had, simply because you weren't looking or weren't believing what others saw.
Okay, so thinking about that vehicle, our energetic makeup, let's move into the next major component of the body graph.
Okay.
Those 9 geometric shapes, the 9 energy centers.
These are essentially your energetic hubs. They manage and carry specific energy frequencies related to various life themes: survival, emotions, identity, pressure, communication, etc.
And it's interesting, humanity wasn't always 9-centered, right? There was a shift.
That's a truly fascinating piece of the historical context within human design. Around 1781, coinciding with the discovery of the planet Uranus, the theory posits that humanity underwent a kind of quantum shift.
From what to what?
Before this, humans were considered 7-centered beings, which aligns closely with the traditional Hindu Brahmin chakra system many people are familiar with.
All right, the 7 chakras.
Exactly. This shift to 9 centers, according to HD, reflects an evolution in both our consciousness and our physical form. It marked a new era, giving us more complex potential for awareness, for processing information, for relating to different themes in our lives. These centers are almost like organs of perception.
Okay, so these 9 centers in your specific chart, they show up in 2 distinct ways. They're either colored in, which is called defined, or they're white, known as undefined, or sometimes open.
Correct. That distinction, defined versus undefined, is fundamental to understanding your energetic consistency and susceptibility.
So what's the core difference? What does it mean if a center is colored in versus left white?
Okay, so defined centers, the colored-in ones, are like a built-in generator or a spotlight that's always on. They represent areas where you have consistent, reliable energy processing. This energy is always active within you, and it's projected outwards.
So it's stable, it's you.
Exactly. These are the fixed, true aspects of you, always working in the same inherent way, regardless of who you're with or what's going on externally. Think of it as your own consistent output, your broadcast signal on that particular frequency or theme.
Okay. And the undefined or open centers, the white ones.
These are like wide open windows, or maybe a sponge is a better analogy. These are areas of flexibility and adaptability. Here, you take in and significantly amplify the energy of others related to that center's theme.
Amplify. So you feel it more strongly than the person sending it out.
Potentially, yes. Or at least you feel it very intensely, and it's not your own consistent energy. This makes you highly susceptible to external influences and conditioning in these areas. You feel what's around you intensely. And sometimes, especially before you understand your design, you can't tell where your energy ends and someone else's begins.
Wow. Okay, that sounds like it could be both an incredible gift, like empathy, but also a huge challenge. If you're amplifying everyone else's stuff, it could be exhausting or confusing.
It absolutely is, and you've hit on the beautiful paradox of openness. While these open centers are indeed where we are most conditioned, where we're most vulnerable to external influences, where we might try to be something we're not to fit in or feel okay,
Right.
they're also the source of our greatest potential wisdom. Once you learn to live your design, to use your strategy and authority, you start to recognize when you're amplifying someone else's energy versus generating your own. own. And then these areas become profound sources of insight, empathy, and understanding about life and others. You learn so much through that openness.
You learn about that energy because you take it in so deeply.
Precisely. You become wise about emotions if your solar plexus is open, wise about identity if your G center is open, and so on. But only through awareness and correct living. Otherwise, it's just conditioning.
Let's put a spotlight on some of these key centers then, because they each play such a distinct role. Let's start with the emotional solar plexus. It's listed as both an awareness center and a motor center. What's its main job? This is feelings.
Right. Absolutely. The emotional solar plexus is the home of our emotions, the full spectrum, passion, desire, needs, moods, and also our social and even spiritual awareness. It's a powerful motor, meaning it generates energy.
So if it's defined in your chart, colored in.
If it's defined, you experience consistent emotional waves. It's like an internal tide, moving predictably from hope to pain or joy to despair and everything in between. These waves are just part of your nature. They aren't necessarily caused by external events. They just are.
So it's not always about something happening to make you feel that way.
Not always, no. It's the mechanics of the defined center. And the crucial insight here for emotionally defined people is patience. You absolutely must wait out these waves to gain clarity before making important decisions.
Why is that?
Because, as the saying goes in HD, there's no truth in the now for someone with emotional authority. Decisions made at the peak of an emotional high or the depth of a low will likely be regretted later. You need to reach a place of relative emotional calm or clarity over time before committing.
And you mentioned it's a motor.
Yes, and when this center is defined in your chart, you actually emanate and influence the emotional environment around you. You set the emotional tone, whether you realize it or not. Others feel your wave.
Okay, so what if your emotional solar plexus is undefined or open, white on the chart? You don't have those consistent waves yourself, which sounds maybe emotionally quieter internally.
Generally, yes, you might feel emotionally quieter when you're alone, but the big implication of that openness is that you are highly susceptible to taking in and amplifying others' emotions.
The amplification again.
Yes. This can make you incredibly empathetic. You can really feel what others are feeling, but it can also be easily overwhelming if you don't know what's happening. You might suddenly feel incredibly anxious or sad or excited and assume it's yours when you've actually just walked into someone else's emotional field.
Can you give an example? You mentioned your friend Karen earlier.
Yes, Karen. Perfect example. Undefined emotional solar plexus. She used to hate going to movies because she would invariably just bawl her eyes out, often way out of proportion to the scene. She once cried so hard during an animated Disney movie that her 9-year-old daughter literally got embarrassed and moved seats.
Oh, wow.
What Karen understands now through human design is that her open emotional system was taking in all the emotional energy in that dark theater, everyone's sadness, joy, tension, and amplifying it. She was, quite literally, crying the tears for the whole room.
That's incredible. So without that awareness, she just thought she was, overly sensitive?
Exactly, or emotionally unstable, when really she was just experiencing her design in an intense environment. It wasn't a flaw. It was her openness at work.
That makes so much sense. It's not just feeling others' emotions, but amplifying them to a degree that can be overwhelming if you're unaware. That can explain a lot for people.
It really does, and it also highlights a potential asset, right? An undefined emotional center can make someone an incredibly intuitive coach or therapist. They can instantly sense and understand a client's emotional state because they're feeling and amplifying it.
The risk is burnout.
Huge risk of burnout if they don't learn healthy detachment and how to clear that energy, yes. Soaking up too many intense emotions takes a toll. And think about children with an undefined emotional center.
Yeah.
They might get labeled dramatic or moody or even disturbed, but often they're simply acting out the emotional health or lack thereof, the unspoken tensions, the drama of their family environment. They're like little emotional barometers, profoundly impacted by the emotional weather around them.
Wow. Okay, next up, the sacral center, another powerhouse motor center. This one is really about life force, right? The engine of our being.
Absolutely. The sacral center is the powerhouse of sustainable life force energy.
Yeah.
It governs vitality, sexuality, persistence, workforce energy, and generative creativity. When it's engaged in things you genuinely respond to, things you're passionate about, it provides a consistent, renewable energy supply, like a perpetually running battery.
And this is a defining center for certain type souls, right?
Yes. If this center is colored in, if it's defined, you are automatically either a generator or a manifesting generator type. Around 70% of the population has a defined sacral.
So having a defined sacral gives you that consistent energy for work and life.
It does. However, and this is crucial, the rule for accessing and using that energy correctly is that you must respond from your gut, from that sacral sound or feeling, not initiate from your mind.
If you don't, if you just push through using willpower.
That's when you hit the shadow side. The shadow of a defined sacral, especially when you're not following your gut response, is burnout, deep frustration, working way too hard on the wrong things, and often not knowing when to stop because you're forcing energy instead of letting it flow in response to life. You deplete that amazing battery.
Got it. Respond, don't initiate from the mind. Okay, then there's the G center, sometimes called the identity center. This sounds like it's right at the core of who we are.
It truly is fundamental. The G center represents your core self, your sense of identity, your capacity for love, both giving and receiving, your direction in life, and your connection to purpose. It's like your inner compass for direction and love.
So how does someone with a defined G center experience their sense of self compared to someone with an undefined one?
Great question. If your G center is defined, colored in, you generally have a consistent, relatively unwavering sense of self and direction. You tend to feel pretty sure of who you are and where you're generally headed in life. It provides a stable sense of, I am.
What's the potential pitfall there? Feeling too rigid?
Sometimes, yeah. A potential pitfall can be a kind of rigidity, a feeling that your identity must stay fixed, or difficulty understanding people whose identity seems more fluid. But overall, it provides a strong inner anchor.
And if it's undefined or open? The white diamond shape.
Then your identity is much more fluid, more adaptable. You're constantly exploring different facets of self, trying on different roles or hats, almost morphing slightly depending on your environment or the people you're with.
That sounds potentially confusing.
It can be. The potential challenge, especially before understanding your design, is a feeling of, who am I, really? Because your sense of self can shift so much with your environment or relationships. But the gift is incredible adaptability and wisdom about identity itself. Your journey is less about sticking to one set path and more about the discovery of self, a constant evolution.
And you mentioned reflectors always have this open.
Yes, reflectors always have an open G center, along with all other centers being open, making them incredibly sensitive to their environment's influence on their identity. They literally reflect the identity or lack thereof of the people and places around them. Their sense of self is deeply tied to their location and community.
Fascinating. Okay, moving up the chart. The head and ajna centers at the very top. These sound like they're all about mental processing, thinking, ideas.
They are indeed. The head center, the triangle at the very top, is a pressure center. It's the source of inspiration, questions, doubts, curiosity, and sometimes a relentless pressure to figure things out, to have all the answers. It's where mental inquiry begins.
So it asks the questions. And the ajna.
The ajna center, the triangle below the head, is an awareness center. It takes the pressure, the questions, the inspiration from the head center and processes it. It forms unique perspectives, conceptualizes, develops opinions, and provides mental awareness. It's where we categorize and research and make sense of things mentally.
What if your ajna is undefined? White. Does that mean you can't think clearly?
Not at all. It just means your thinking process is less stable or fixed. It comes and goes. You're very open to and easily influenced by others' mental energy, their concepts, their certainty. In a group, you might find yourself adopting others' opinions easily.
So it's not a reliable place for making decisions.
Absolutely not. This is a critical point. An undefined ajna is not a place for making your life decisions. Relying on it, trying to think your way to certainty when your mind is designed to be open and flexible will often lead to anxiety, mental confusion, and feeling overwhelmed by others' certainty.
So the insight is?
The insight is to recognize that your mental process is designed to be flexible, maybe even inconsistent, and that's okay. It's a place for gaining wisdom about thought itself, not for finding your absolute truth for decisions. Trust your authority instead.
Right. Authority, we'll get to that. Okay. Moving down a bit, the heart center, or sometimes called the ego center, the small triangle. This relates to willpower, right? And willpower is so often seen as the key to success in our world.
It is, and human design has a really different take on it. The heart center governs drive, determination, motivation, ego strength, promises, contracts, values, and material desire. It's the engine of willpower and self-worth in the material world.
What happens if it's undefined or open? Which is actually quite common, isn't it?
Yes, a majority of people have an undefined heart ego center. When it's undefined, a very common not-self strategy, meaning how you operate when you're out of alignment, is to constantly try to prove your worth.
How does that show up?
By making promises you struggle to keep, by feeling the need to impress others, by undervaluing yourself or overvaluing yourself, by constantly striving and pushing yourself to demonstrate your value or capability, often leading to burnout.
So what's the liberating insight here from Ra Uruhu?
Ra explicitly stated that if this center is open in your chart, you have nothing to prove. Period.
Wow, just nothing to prove.
Nothing to prove. Your worth is inherent. It's not tied to your achievements, your consistency, or what you deliver on the material plane. This is profoundly liberating. It's an invitation to release that immense internal pressure and embrace your inherent value, trusting that you are enough exactly as you are without needing to constantly prove it to yourself or anyone else.
That's huge. Okay, let's talk about the splenic center over on the left. That's our intuition, isn't it? Our primal intelligence.
Yes, the splenic center is our oldest awareness center. It's the seat of our primal intuition, our instincts, our physical well-being, the immune system, and moment-to-moment survival awareness. It acts as the body's ancient alarm system.
How does it communicate?
It gives spontaneous, quiet, in-the-moment insights or feelings, a little ping, a shiver, a sudden knowing about what feels safe or not safe, healthy or unhealthy, what to accept or reject for your physical well-being. It's a now awareness, very immediate, very subtle sometimes.
And have to catch it quickly.
Absolutely. Crucially, its guidance doesn't repeat itself. It's a spontaneous whisper, not a nagging voice or a repeating alarm bell. If you miss that subtle signal in the moment because your mind is too loud or you're distracted, it's gone.
What about if your spleen is undefined?
If your spleen is undefined, you might experience a more inconsistent immune system, perhaps feeling more vulnerable physically. You might also be prone to holding on to fears about survival or the future. And a key tendency is holding on to things, relationships, jobs, habits, even clutter, that are actually bad for you, long past their expiry date.
Why? Because they lack that consistent internal nope signal.
Exactly. They don't have that reliable instant gut check saying, this isn't healthy, let it go. So they might cling to things out of a misplaced sense of security or fear of letting go. Following your splenic authority correctly, when it is defined, is vital for your health and well-being, keeping you safe and aligned with what genuinely serves you physically in each moment.
Okay, one more center. The root center, the square at the very bottom. What's driving us there?
The root center is both a pressure center, like the head, and a motor center. It houses adrenaline energy. It governs stress, drive, ambition, the pressure to evolve, and timing. It ignites initiative, providing the vital pressure to get things started, to adapt, and to keep moving forward.
It sounds like fuel.
It is. It's a primal force that drives our personal evolution, giving us the energy to overcome inertia and respond to life's demands and stresses. If it's undefined, though, you might feel a constant sort of ambient pressure, either amplifying other stress or feeling this inner hurry to get things done quickly, to get things over with, to escape uncomfortable situations or pressures fast. This can make it really hard to relax and just be still. You feel like you always need to be doing something to relieve the pressure.
Wow, okay. That's a lot packed into those 9 centers, each one offering so much potential wisdom, whether it's defined or undefined.
Absolutely. Understanding your centers is a huge piece of the puzzle.
So let's shift gears slightly and talk about the 5 energy types. This feels like where your overall role in the world really comes into focus. And you mentioned each type has a specific aura, which is fascinating how you energetically interact with others even before words are spoken.
Indeed. Your human design type manifestor, generator, manifesting generator, projector, or reflector determines your inherent way of interacting with the world energetically. Think of it as your energetic signature, your strategy for engaging, influencing how you contribute, connect, and ultimately thrive. Understanding your type is often one of the quickest ways to start living in alignment and reducing resistance.
Let's start with the manifestors. They make up about 8–10% of the population, often seen as the initiators, the ones who make things happen. What's their unique energy like?
Manifestors are the natural initiators, the trailblazers. They are here energetically to impact others and get things started, to spark change. A key insight for manifestors is recognizing their power isn't necessarily in doing the work consistently like others might, but in their unique ability to initiate, to launch things, to get the ball rolling. Imagine the liberation of realizing you're not meant to work in the traditional 9-to-5 consistent sense, but to operate in powerful bursts of initiation. That's a total game changer for them.
And their aura. You said it's different.
Very different. Their aura is described as closed off, compact, dense, and even repelling. It's not inviting in the way some other auras are. Others' auras tend to kind of bounce off theirs. Information is what gets past this dense auric field, not necessarily just vibes.
That sounds like it could make them feel misunderstood.
It often does. They can feel misunderstood, maybe even a bit feared or intimidating, because people can't read them easily through their aura. They have this self-contained quality. They are designed to be self-catalyzing and self-initiating, propelled by an inner urge or spark rather than needing an external response. And as I said, they tend to work in spurts and bursts of intense energy, followed by periods of rest, not a consistent flow.
Okay, so when a manifestor is out of alignment, operating incorrectly, their not-self theme is anger. I can see how that dense aura and potentially feeling misunderstood could lead to that.
Absolutely. Anger often arises for manifestors when they meet resistance, which frequently happens when they initiate without informing those who will be impacted. Or it can arise when they feel controlled, unable to manifest, or even when they're unwilling to follow their own urge to manifest. They might also get angry trying too hard to force things instead of allowing their impact.
And their signature, the feeling when they are in alignment.
Peace. A sense of calm and flow where their actions land effectively and without unnecessary friction. A crucial lesson, a real strategy piece for manifestors, is learning to reframe what feels like rejection as simply information.
How so?
When people resist their initiation, instead of taking it personally and getting angry, they can see it as information. Okay, these aren't my people for this initiative, or the timing isn't right, or I need to inform differently. This allows them to direct their powerful initiating energy more effectively without getting bogged down by those who can't handle or aren't ready for their impact. Informing is key to finding that peace.
Got it. Inform, then initiate. Okay, then we have the generators. A huge chunk of the population, nearly 70%, if you include manifesting generators in that broader category. These are really the doers, the energetic backbone of society, aren't they?
Yes, generators are the primary life force energy beings on the planet. They have that consistent, sustainable energy generated by their defined sacral center. They are here to build, create, nurture, and sustain the world through their work and dedication when they're engaged in things that truly light them up.
And their aura is different from the manifestors.
Completely different. The generator aura is open, enveloping, and magnetic. It's constantly drawing life, opportunities, questions, and things to respond to towards them. It's like a gentle, persistent, energetic pull, almost like a subtle vortex, or as some describe it, a hurricane at their core, drawing experiences in.
So life comes to them. They don't need to chase it.
Exactly. That's the core principle. But when they forget this, when they initiate from their mind, I should do this, I need to make that happen,
Right.
instead of waiting to respond from their gut.
Then comes the not-self theme.
Then comes the not-self theme. Frustration, a deep feeling of being stuck, hitting dead ends, like they're pushing against a closed door or running in mud. Their energy just doesn't flow correctly.
And their signature, when they're following that gut response.
Pure satisfaction, a deep, resonant feeling of contentment, of energy well spent, of being in flow with life. It's a physical sensation often, a hum of fulfillment.
Now, within that 70%, you have the manifesting generators, or MGs, the unique blend, right? Often described as multi-passionate, which, as you said, our society sometimes judges.
MGs are fascinating. They are a dynamic hybrid with the generator's defined sacral and a motor center connected to the throat center, giving them manifestor-like capabilities to initiate after responding. They are typically very energetic, multi-passionate individuals.
So they're designed to juggle multiple things.
Yes. They are designed to show the world that you don't need to commit to just one thing for your entire life to be successful or fulfilled. They're often very quick learners, can appear to skip steps because they process things rapidly, and they build this huge toolbox of diverse knowledge and skills because they're meant to explore many different interests, projects, even careers.
What's their not-self theme? Is it frustration or anger or both?
It's typically a combination. Frustration and anger. They feel the generator frustration when they initiate incorrectly or get stuck, and the manifestor anger when they meet resistance after initiating, even if they responded first, or feel controlled.
And their signature, satisfaction and peace.
Exactly. They can experience both the deep satisfaction of using their energy correctly and the peace that comes from informing and having their actions flow smoothly. They often face judgment, though, for having so many interests, for changing direction, for what others might call flakiness or shiny object syndrome.
But that's not accurate from an HD perspective.
Yeah, not at all. That judgment usually comes from societal conditioning that values linear specialization, or sometimes even from others' jealousy of their speed and versatility. The powerful insight for MGs is, Your multi-passionate nature, your speed, your ability to pivot, that is your gift. It's not a flaw to be corrected or suppressed. Trying to force yourself into one box will only lead to deep frustration and anger.
Embrace the variety. Okay, next type. Projectors. Around 20% of humanity. They're described as non-energy types and here to guide. What does non-energy type really mean in this context?
Projectors are indeed the natural guides, teachers, administrators, and leaders. They have a unique ability to see systems, efficiencies, and the potential in others. Being a non-energy type simply means they do not have a defined sacral center.
Ah, okay. So no consistent self-generating life force energy like the generators.
Correct. They don't have that sustainable energy output for traditional work. They take in and amplify sacral energy from others, which can make them seem energetic temporarily, but it's not their own consistent source. They need to manage their energy very carefully to avoid burnout. They operate best in focused bursts, guiding or managing rather than doing the heavy lifting themselves.
And their aura, how does it work?
The projector aura is very different again. It's described as focused, penetrating, and absorbing. It's designed to hone in on one other person at a time and truly take them in, seeing deeply into their essence, their G-center. This is where their gift for guidance comes from. They can really see the other.
But this can lead to their not-self theme if they're not recognized.
Exactly. Their not-self theme is bitterness. This sharp, often acidic feeling arises when they are not recognized for their insights, when they offer guidance that isn't invited or wanted, or when they feel generally unseen and undervalued for their unique perspective.
And their signature when they are recognized and invited.
Success. Not necessarily material success, though that can come, but a feeling of being seen, valued, and effective in their guidance. A feeling that their insights landed and made a difference. There's a common experience, often called the projector's pain.
What's that?
They see others so incredibly well, they naturally understand how others operate, how systems could be improved, but they often feel profoundly unseen themselves. This can lead to a desperate search for attention or recognition, sometimes causing them to offer unsolicited advice, which inevitably backfires and leads right back to bitterness. The key for them is waiting for that genuine invitation.
Waiting for the invitation. We'll dive into that strategy soon. Okay, finally, the smallest group, just over 1% of the population. The reflectors. Truly unique, you said, almost like energetic barometers.
Reflectors are absolutely unique. They are highly attuned, energetic mirrors designed to reflect the health and functioning of their environment, their community, the people around them. They are also non-energy types, no defined sacral. And what makes them truly distinct is that every single one of their 9 centers is open or undefined.
All 9 are white.
Wow, all 9 are white. This makes them incredibly sensitive, fluid, and deeply influenced by the energies around them. They sample everything. This openness gives them a unique connection to the lunar cycle, hence their lunar authority.
What's their aura like?
Their aura is described as open, sampling, and resistant. It takes everything in, samples the energies, but like Teflon, nothing really sticks permanently. They taste the energies without becoming them.
And their not-self theme relates to their environment.
Yes. When they are out of alignment, or more often when they find themselves in an unhealthy, dissonant, or simply incorrect environment for them, their not-self theme is deep disappointment. A feeling that life, or the community, or the experience is just flat, dull, or somehow off.
But when they are in the right place, with the right people,
when operating correctly in a healthy, vibrant environment that suits them, their signature is surprise and wonder, a feeling of delight and magic in the unfolding uniqueness of life, reflected back through their open centers. They are incredibly sensitive indicators of the well-being of any group or community they are part of. If the reflector is feeling disappointed, it's often a sign something is amiss in the collective around them.
incredible. Okay, so understanding your type is crucial. It tells you your energetic role and aura. But how do you actually navigate life day to day to find that flow, make the right decisions, and avoid the not-self theme? That's where strategy and authority come in, right? Like your inner GPS.
Exactly. Strategy and authority are the practical application pieces. They are your unique decision-making tools designed to guide you into alignment. Strategy, in particular, is all about how you engage with opportunities and the world to overcome resistance.
It sounds like the key to making things easier.
It's precisely that. And this is where the rubber really meets the road with human design. Your strategy is a practical, sometimes counterintuitive, but incredibly effective tool for working with the universe, finding your natural energetic flow and minimizing resistance in your life.
I like that hiking trail analogy you used earlier.
Yeah, it's a good one. Imagine walking through a dense forest. You could just plunge in and struggle through the thick underbrush, fighting every branch, getting tangled in vines, ending up exhausted and scratched. That's life without following your strategy.
Okay.
Or you could find the marked hiking trail, the path that was designed to make the journey through that same forest easier, clearer, more efficient. Following your strategy is like finding and sticking to that clear path. It makes your journey through life smoother, more efficient, and far more enjoyable, leading you naturally towards your signature, like peace or satisfaction, and away from your not-self theme, like anger or frustration.
Okay, let's break down the strategies for each type. For manifestors, their strategy is to inform and initiate. What does inform really mean in practice? Is it just telling people what you're doing?
It's more nuanced than just announcing. For manifestors, informing means sharing your intentions, your plans, with those who will be significantly impacted by your actions before you take action. Crucially, this is not asking for permission. Manifestors don't need permission to initiate.
Okay, that's a key distinction. Not asking permission, just informing.
Right. It's proactive communication. It serves to remove energetic resistance, diffuse potential anger or shock from others who feel blindsided, and allows the manifestor's powerful initiating energy to flow more peacefully and have its intended impact.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say you're a manifestor and you suddenly decide to quit your job to start a completely new business venture. Informing your current employer, your family, maybe key colleagues before you just walk out, even with a simple, "I'm planning to make a significant change soon regarding my work," can prevent people from feeling run over or disregarded.
It gives them a heads up, manages expectations.
Exactly. It paves the way. It respects the impact you have. This simple act of informing allows them to create, to initiate, and find their signature of peace much more easily. It bypasses so much potential conflict.
Okay, now for generators and manifesting generators, the big 70%. Their strategy is wait to respond. This is a huge one, isn't it? Because so many of us, especially in modern Western culture, are conditioned to just go out and make things happen, to chase opportunities. This sounds almost passive.
It sounds passive, but it's actually incredibly powerful and magnetic. And yes, it's a radical shift from the constant societal message of hustle, initiate, go get it. For generators and MGs, their correct strategy is indeed to wait to respond.
What does that mean practically? Wait for what? Respond to what?
It means waiting for life to bring things to you rather than chasing things down with your mind. Opportunities, questions, invitations, things you see, things you hear, anything external that enters your awareness that you can then check in with your gut about. The response part is tapping into their powerful sacral response.
That gut feeling again.
Yes, that immediate, visceral, often nonverbal gut feeling of yes or no, an energetic pull towards something or a pushing away from it. For generators, it's often an actual sound like uh-huh for yes or uh-uh for no, coming from deep in their belly. For MGs, it can be that, plus a feeling of things lighting up or going dead energetically.
So it's not about sitting around doing nothing.
Not at all. It's about being present, engaged with life, but waiting for those external cues before committing your powerful sacral energy. When you respond from that gut knowing, you optimize your energy, ensure you're engaging with things that are truly correct for you, and significantly increase your potential for satisfaction in life and work. It's an internal tuning fork.
That sounds simple enough in theory, but I imagine there are huge obstacles to actually living that way. We're so conditioned to act from the mind, to overcommit, to say yes out of obligation.
Absolutely. The biggest obstacle is that deep societal conditioning. We're constantly pushed to initiate, to make things happen, to plan everything out mentally, to say yes, to be seen as capable or helpful. This leads generators and MGs to constantly override their sacral response.
And what's the cost of overriding it?
Immense frustration, burnout, feeling depleted, doing work that drains you instead of energizes you. The powerful insight here is that your sacral energy is your most precious, sustainable resource. When you say yes from your mind to something your sacral clearly says no to, you're essentially misusing and draining that vital life force. You're working against yourself.
So what are some practical tips? How can generators and MGs start leaning into this, waiting to respond, especially with all that pressure?
Okay, practically. Start small. Notice what you naturally respond to during your day, what lights you up, what makes you lean in, what feels like a yes.
Pay attention to the body signals.
Yes, maybe try delegating tasks you know you don't love, things that feel like a clear no in your gut, freeing up energy. Practice conscious communication. Instead of an immediate pressured yes when asked to do something, try saying things like, let me check in on that and get back to you, or can I let you know closer to the date? Buy yourself time to feel the response.
Create space for the gut feeling.
Exactly. And practice saying no. Learning to say a clear, unapologetic no to things that don't light up your sacral response is incredibly powerful. It actually builds your magnetism, clearing space for the right opportunities to find you.
That's counterintuitive. Saying no makes you more magnetic.
Yes, because you're honoring your energy. You become clearer. And internally, practice asking yourself simple yes-no questions throughout the day about small things. Do I want tea or coffee? Does going for a walk feel good right now? And really try to feel the response in your belly, below the navel. Get familiar with that sensation.
Even just not doing something you don't want to do is a win.
Absolutely. Even just not forcing yourself to do something your sacral says, is better than acting against it. Going against your internal truth is far more depleting in the long run than simply pausing or doing nothing until a yes appears. It's about honoring your sacred energy source.
Okay, and for manifesting generators specifically, this idea of shiny object syndrome comes up a lot because they do have so many interests. Is that something they should try to curb or embrace?
Totally embrace it. For MGs, what looks like shiny object syndrome from the outside is often just them living their design correctly. Their multi-passionate nature is their gift. They are designed to have many interests, to explore, to learn quickly, to pivot, and to show the world that mastery can look like breadth and integration, not just deep specialization in one thing forever.
So the advice is,
don't let judgment from others or that internalized societal conditioning limit this incredible capacity. Your design is to explore, to be fast, to gather a vast toolbox of experiences. Trying to force yourself to stick rigidly to one thing when your sacral is pulling you towards something new will only lead to that deep frustration and anger. Follow the response, even if it leads you in multiple directions. That is your path.
got it. Okay, then we have projectors. Their strategy is wait for the invitation. That was probably one of the most misunderstood strategies, isn't it? It often makes projectors feel like they have to be totally passive, just sitting around waiting for permission to live.
It is incredibly misunderstood and often taught in a way that does sound passive, but it's absolutely not about being passive or waiting for every little thing in life. A projector doesn't need a formal invitation to, say, start their own business or learn a new skill or travel or decide what to eat for dinner or engage in personal projects that fuel their passion.
Okay, so what is an invitation then, in the human design sense? What are they waiting for?
An invitation, for a projector, is primarily about recognition. It's an energetic opening, a signal that someone else genuinely sees them and their potential contribution, creating a space where their wisdom, guidance, or energy will actually be received and valued, rather than bouncing off or being rejected.
So it's less about permission and more about energetic receptivity.
Precisely. It's recognition that opens an energetic door, allowing the projector to assess. Is sharing my precious, non-sustainable energy and guidance here worthwhile? Will it land? Is this person's situation ready for what I see? It often feels like recognition, or maybe a direct question seeking their specific input. What do you think about this? Could you help us with? Not always a formal, engraved invitation.
That feels very different from just waiting passively. It's about discerning where your energy will be effective.
Exactly. It ensures they don't waste their limited energy trying to guide people who aren't open or ready, which only leads to bitterness. Now, a critical insight for projectors is to avoid what's sometimes called seeding for invitations.
Seeding, like dropping hints.
Yeah, trying to subtly manipulate situations or constantly dropping hints or offering free samples of their wisdom, hoping to hook someone into inviting them. This bypasses the strategy, feels inauthentic, and actually tends to repel the very invitations they seek because the energy isn't clean.
So what should they do instead? Just wait.
Focus on mastering what you love. Become a super nerd in your passions. Develop your unique insights, your systems, your mastery. This authentic dedication creates a natural magnetism. The right people, the right opportunities will recognize your value and extend genuine invitations when the time is right. Your job is to cultivate your gifts and be ready.
And bitterness is the sign they've gone off track.
Bitterness is their red flag. If a projector feels bitter, it's almost always a sign they've shared unsolicited wisdom, pushed where they weren't invited, or weren't genuinely recognized and valued for their contribution. It's a precise signal to pull back, reassess, and wait for genuine recognition. Learning to say no to invitations that don't feel right, even if they are invitations, is also incredibly powerful for a projector's self-worth. It honors their energy and value.
Okay. And finally, for the reflectors, their strategy is Wait a lunar cycle. That sounds like a huge commitment for making decisions.
It is a significant waiting period, and it's absolutely essential for their unique design. For reflectors, making major life decisions like moving, changing jobs, entering or leaving relationships requires waiting approximately 28 days, a full lunar cycle.
Why so long?
Because with all their centers open, they are constantly sampling the energies around them, including the shifting transits of the moon through all 64 gates. Waiting a full cycle allows them to experience a situation or decision from all those different energetic perspectives. It lets the dust settle, allowing them to gain clarity over time, ensuring their decisions are truly aligned with their core self and their environment, rather than just impulsively reflecting a temporary energy they picked up. This patient process is key for their discernment and well-being.
Wow. Strategy is clearly so tailored to each type. It tells you how to engage with the world to avoid resistance. But then, how do you actually make the decision itself once the opportunity arises correctly according to your strategy? What's the final inner yes or no? That's your authority, right? Your inner compass.
Exactly. Your authority is your body's reliable, consistent intelligence for making decisions that are correct for you. It's your personalized decision-making tool, and crucially, it relies on innate bodily wisdom, not the thinking mind.
Not the mind. That's a recurring theme.
It's perhaps the central theme for decision-making in human design. Ro'uru himself often stated that the mind is the real enemy when it tries to usurp the role of inner authority and make decisions for you. Living from the mind's decisions, he said, inevitably leads to a not-self life, full of resistance and the not-self theme.
So the mind has a role, but not making personal decisions.
Correct. The mind is brilliant for analyzing, conceptualizing, researching, sharing perspectives with others, what HD calls becoming outer authority for others. But it is absolutely not equipped to know what is truly correct for your life path. That wisdom resides in your body, accessible through your specific authority.
Okay, let's break down the main authorities. The most common one you mentioned is emotional authority, affecting about half the population.
That's right. Roughly 50% of humanity has emotional authority linked to a defined emotional solar plexus. If this is your authority, you need time and patience. You must ride out your emotional wave to reach clarity before making significant decisions. Remember, no truth in the now.
So no impulsive decisions based on how you feel right this second.
Absolutely not. Whether you're feeling ecstatic or devastated, that's not the moment to commit. Clarity comes over time as the wave moves through its cycle. You need to wait until you reach a place of relative emotional calm or neutrality, or until the decision feels consistently right across different points on your wave. Patience is your superpower here. Not acting on emotional impulse is key.
Okay. Then there's sacral authority. This sounds more immediate.
Sacral authority is incredibly direct and happens in the moment of response. It's that immediate, nonverbal, yes, or no, gut response we talked about for generators and MGs. It's a very visceral, energetic confirmation or rejection that arises from their life force energy in response to a yes-no question or opportunity. If you have this authority, your body will literally tell you yes or no instantly if you just learn to listen below the neck and trust that raw energy.
No waiting required, just the immediate response.
Just the immediate response in the now.
And splenic authority. This sounds very instinctual too, maybe even faster.
It is. Splenic authority, linked to a defined spleen, is also an in-the-now authority, but it's different from the sacral. It's guided by those quiet, spontaneous, in-the-moment, intuitive hits, instincts, or physiological cues, a subtle feeling of resonance or dissonance, safety or risk, health or unhealthiness.
It feels right or off.
Exactly. It's often described as a whisper. It's faster than the mind or emotions, a primal now awareness. But remember the key thing. Its guidance doesn't repeat. It's that one subtle ping or knowing. If you hesitate, rationalize, or ignore it, the moment passes and the signal is gone. Following your splenic authority correctly is vital for your physical health, safety, and well-being, keeping you aligned with what genuinely serves you moment to moment. Trust the first hit.
Okay, then for projectors, there are a couple of unique authorities since they don't have sacral or emotional definition typically, with self-projected authority.
Self-projected authority is unique to certain projectors, those with a defined G center connected to the throat. For them, clarity comes from talking things out loud. They need to hear their own voice, discussing the decision, the options, the feelings.
Not necessarily getting advice.
No, it's not about seeking advice or opinions from the listener, though a trusted sounding board who doesn't interrupt or advise much can be helpful. It's the act of hearing their own truth spoken aloud that brings clarity. As they talk, the correct path reveals itself to them through their own words.
Fascinating. And the other projector authority, environmental, or sometimes called mental projector authority.
This authority applies to projectors with the defined ajna connected to the throat, or sometimes head to ajna to throat, but no centers below the throat defined. They gain clarity by discussing their thoughts and decision processes out loud in different supportive environments and with trusted confidants over time.
So the environment matters.
Yes, the physical space they are in while talking can impact their clarity. And bouncing ideas off trusted people, again, people who listen more than advise, helps them hear their own thoughts reflected back, allowing them to discern their truth. It's a process of externalizing their mental process in the right setting with the right people.
Okay. And finally, we revisit lunar authority, which is exclusive to reflectors.
Lunar authority, as we discussed with their strategy, means waiting that full lunar cycle, roughly 28 days, to gain clarity on major decisions. By sampling the decision against the backdrop of the entire lunar transit cycle, talking with different people, being in different environments, they allow a slow, patient clarity to emerge, ensuring the decision feels right for them consistently, not just a reflection of one fleeting energy.
Incredible. So strategy tells you how to engage, authority tells you how to decide. We've covered the centers, the type.
Yeah.
But there's another crucial piece that defines your sort of character arc, right? Like your role in this movie of life. That's your profile, determined by those two numbers, lines 1 through 6.
Yes, exactly. Your profile adds another layer of nuance. If your type is your vehicle and strategy authority is how you drive it, your profile is like the specific character role you're playing in your life's narrative, complete with its own costume, style, and recurring themes. It's represented as a fraction, like a 13, a 46, a 51, and so on.
And the two numbers have different meanings, conscious and unconscious again.
Precisely. Just like the black and red in the main chart data. The first number in your profile represents your conscious role, the aspects of your character you tend to recognize and identify with, how you consciously see yourself and present yourself to the world. The second number is your unconscious role. It significantly shapes your journey, your underlying motivations, and how others experience you, but it often operates outside your immediate awareness. Together, they create a unique dynamic, sometimes harmonious, sometimes paradoxical.
Okay, let's do a quick run through of what each of these 6 lines represents in essence. They have these evocative keywords, don't they?
They do. So line 1 is the investigator.
Investigator. Sounds like they need to know things.
Deeply. If line 1 is prominent in your profile, you have this inherent need to dig deep, to research, to understand the foundations of things, to feel secure before you can move forward or build anything. Superficiality makes you uncomfortable. You need information, facts, a solid base.
Okay. Line 2, the hermit, or sometimes called the natural.
Yes. Line 2 carries this natural, innate talent or gift that often feels so natural to them they don't even recognize it as special. They tend to prefer being left alone to do their own thing, hence the hermit aspect. But others see their natural brilliance and they will often get called out by others.
Called out.
Pulled out of their comfortable space, invited or prompted to share their specific talent with the world because it's needed or recognized by the community, even if the line 2 person just wants to be left alone with it.
Interesting. Okay. Line 3, the martyr, or more neutrally, the experimenter.
Line 3 learns through direct hands-on experience. Life for them is a process of trial and error, bumping into things, making what society might call mistakes, but which for them are essential data points. They build resilience through this process. Life is an experiment, and things are discovered by trying them out. Bonds are made and broken. Adaptability is key.
Sounds potentially challenging, but also very resilient. Line 4, the opportunist or networker.
Line 4 is fundamentally relational and communal. They are gregarious, friendly, influential within their network. Their opportunities, stability, and major life changes, like jobs, homes, relationships, tend to come through their established network of friends, family, and colleagues. They need to have the next opportunity lined up before leaving the current one. Their foundation is their community.
Makes sense. Line 5, the heretic or the problem solver. This one sounds intense.
Line 5 energy is potent and complex. They live within a projection field. Others tend to project expectations, hopes, and assumptions onto them, seeing them as a savior, a leader, someone who holds the practical solution to their problems, whether the line 5 person invites this or not. They have the potential for widespread impact and universalizing wisdom.
But there's a catch.
Big catch. They must live according to their strategy and authority. If they don't, or if they can't deliver on the projections placed upon them, which are often unrealistic, the projection field can flip, and they can be burned at the stake, metaphorically speaking, blamed, rejected, their reputation damaged. It's crucial for them to be very discerning about what they engage with.
High stakes. Okay, and finally, line 6, the role model. This one unfolds over time, right?
Yes, the line 6 has a unique 3-stage life process. From birth until around age 30, specifically their Saturn return, they live life very much like a line 3, full of trial and error, experimentation, relationship bumps, finding out what doesn't work.
So a chaotic early phase.
Often, yes. Then, from about 30 to 50, around the Chiron return, they enter a more aloof, objective phase, metaphorically on the roof, observing life, integrating the lessons from the first phase, becoming more selective, and then after 50...
They come down from the roof.
They come down from the roof, embodying the wisdom they've gained. They transition into the true role model, living authentically, trusting the process, and naturally guiding others through their lived experience and objective perspective. They walk their talk. It's a journey towards wisdom and leadership through lived experience.
Wow, these lines add so much flavor. And the interplay between the two numbers in your specific profile must create really unique dynamics.
Absolutely. For example, take a 13 profile. You have the conscious investigator, line 1, combined with the unconscious experimenter, line 3.
So they need to research and mess things up.
Kind of. This person is deeply driven to research, investigate, get all the information, build that solid foundation, line 1. But unconsciously, their life path involves diving in, trying things out, learning through direct experience, making mistakes, and adapting, line 3. They need both the deep understanding and the hands-on experimentation to feel secure and truly learn. It's like a scientist who reads every study but then absolutely must go into the lab and run the experiments themselves, expecting some things to blow up or fail along the way.
That makes total sense. And we found a great real-world example of this profile interplay in our research, didn't we? From Reddit.
We did. A Reddit user, Fee Phoenix, shared an experience that perfectly illustrates her 36 profile. She talked about trying to charge her first electric car, a totally new, unfamiliar process.
How'd it go?
Chaotically. She described her line 3 energy being very hardcore during the stressful trial and error of finding working charging pumps, downloading different apps, her phone dying, just bumping into all the practical problems. It was messy, uncertain, full of literal wrong turns and frustrations.
Classic line 3 experimentation.
Totally. But then, once she got home, she could laugh about it. She saw it objectively. Maybe Jupiter was teaching her a lesson about planning, showing that emerging line 6 perspective, able to look back on the failure with detachment and even humor.
So she lived the line 3 mess, but the developing line 6 could see the bigger picture afterwards.
Exactly. It perfectly shows how understanding your profile can help you reframe those challenging, messy line 3 experiences, not as personal failures, but as necessary parts of your learning process, your natural way of engaging with and processing life. It brings self-compassion.
This system clearly has so many intricate layers. We've really only scratched the surface today, haven't we? But there are even more details people can explore when they're ready to dive deeper into their own chart.
Oh, absolutely. Beyond these foundational element centers, type, strategy, authority, profile, we have other key indicators that add even more depth.
Like the signature not self themes we've been mentioning.
Yes, understanding those is crucial. They act as your body's internal guidance system, your personal alarm bells. Your signature like peace for manifestors, satisfaction for generators, success for projectors, surprise wonder for reflectors, tells you you're in alignment, operating correctly according to your design. It's the green light.
And the not self theme.
That's the red light. Anger for manifestors, frustration for generators, bitterness for projectors, disappointment for reflectors. Feeling your not self-theme consistently is a clear signal that you're out of alignment, likely making decisions from your mind or operating against your strategy. These feelings aren't bad. They are vital information prompting you to reassess and realign.
Okay. Then there's something called definition, how your centers connect.
Right. Your definition describes how your defined energy centers connect to each other through the channels. You might have single definition, all defined centers are connected in one group, split definition, 2 separate groups of defined centers, triple split, 3 groups, or even quadruple split, 4 groups. Reflectors have no definition.
What does that tell you?
It influences your processing style and your relationship dynamics. For instance, someone with single definition might feel more self-contained and process things more internally. Someone with a split definition often feels drawn to others who have gates or channels that bridge their split, helping them feel more whole or integrated. It impacts how independent versus interdependent you might feel in your energy and decision-making.
Interesting. And for those who really want to go down the rabbit hole, there are gates, channels, planets, the incarnation cross, variables. This sounds like a whole new level.
It is, but think of these as the finer details, the next steps for deeper exploration once you've got a good handle on the basics. If centers are like rooms in your house, channels are the hallways connecting them, showing your consistent life themes and gifts. Gates, derived from the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching, are the specific doors or traits along those channels.
And planets.
Planets activate specific gates in your chart, indicating how those gate energies tend to manifest in your life, like Mars influencing your drive in that area, or Venus influencing your values. Your incarnation cross, formed by the positions of the Sun and Earth at birth, both conscious and unconscious, gives profound clues about your overarching life, purpose, and contribution, though it's always your journey to live out and define that purpose.
And variables, those arrows you sometimes see on charts.
The variables, often shown as 4 arrows, offer incredibly deep insights into your cognitive design, how you are best designed to digest food and information, what kind of environment best supports you, how you're meant to see the world, your perspective, and your optimal way of processing awareness. Each layer unveils more about the extraordinary complexity and precision of your unique design. It's like zooming in on a map from a global view right down to a specific street address.
Okay, wow. That is incredibly detailed. So, after exploring all of this, after potentially getting your chart and understanding these layers, what are the real, tangible benefits? How can human design actually transform your life, moving beyond just interesting information into real change?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? The core promise, I think, of human design is profound self-understanding leading to radical authenticity. It helps you truly know and, importantly, accept yourself, your strengths, your vulnerabilities, your quirks. It helps you embrace your so-called superpowers, heal from past conditioning where you were told parts of you were wrong, and ultimately live in deep alignment with your truest, most natural self, unburdened by all those societal shoulds. It's about reclaiming the real you.
And a central concept for achieving that authenticity is deconditioning, right?
Yeah.
Which you mentioned is often described as a 7-year journey. That sounds like a pretty significant commitment.
It is a process, not an overnight fix, but it's essential. Deconditioning is the gradual process of recognizing and letting go of those external pressures, beliefs, and behavioral patterns from parents, school, society, culture that have shaped your decisions and sense of self, often moving you away from your true nature. It's about peeling back the layers to distinguish between who the world has conditioned you to be and who you are actually born to be.
And why 7 years? Is that literal?
It's often linked conceptually to the body's natural cellular regeneration cycle, the idea that roughly every 7 years, most cells in your body have been replaced. So energetically and physically, you become a new person. It signifies a deep physiological integration of living your design. But the process starts the moment you begin experimenting.
And this addresses deep wounds.
Yes. Human design experts like Micah Gabriela highlight that this deconditioning process directly addresses those deep core wounds, often programmed into our subconscious during childhood, where we learn to reject or suppress parts of ourselves, our energy type, our authority, our open centers, in order to feel safe, accepted, or loved within our family or community.
And Ra Uru Hu had a stark warning about not doing this.
He did. He spoke of the horror of not beginning the deconditioning process, of remaining trapped in the not-self. He warned that if you don't live out your unique design, you risk becoming just an extra in the grand movie of life, essentially playing out a generic conditioned role rather than embodying your unique intended character and role. You never truly realize your potential or purpose.
That's a powerful and, a little chilling image. It really drives home the importance of this experiment. Okay, so beyond that radical self-awareness and authenticity, human design offers practical tools for empowered decision-making.
Absolutely. By understanding and consistently applying your specific strategy and authority, you gain access to your own reliable personal GPS system for navigating life. This allows you to bypass those wrong turn decisions, those detours that might seem logical or appealing to the mind, but ultimately lead you into resistance, frustration, or bitterness.
It guides you towards your correct path.
It guides you towards experiences, relationships, and opportunities that are truly aligned with your energetic blueprint, clearing the path toward your highest potential and significantly reducing struggle and resistance. Imagine how much time and energy you save when you stop making decisions that consistently lead you into your not-self theme.
Ultimately, then, this all points towards achieving your full potential and living a more fulfilling, satisfying life.
Exactly. When you live in alignment with your design, you naturally gravitate towards your purpose. Human design guides you to achieve success, abundance, satisfaction, peace, happiness, whatever your signature feels like in the ways that are authentic to your specific nature. It also helps prevent burnout by teaching you how to optimize and respect your unique energy levels and type, ensuring you're working with your natural flow rather than constantly pushing against it.
And one of the most beautiful side effects, I think, and what I've certainly seen play out, is how it enhances relationships and fosters compassion.
Oh, hugely. By first understanding and accepting your own design, you inevitably develop greater compassion for yourself. And from that place, you naturally foster greater understanding and compassion for others. You start recognizing the inherent uniqueness in everyone's way of operating. Their annoying trait might just be their defined center influencing you, or their flakiness might be their MG design exploring.
It depersonalizes things.
Completely. It can profoundly inform parenting approaches, for example, helping you guide and empower your children based on their specific designs, honoring their energy type, their authority, their profile, rather than trying to force them into a societal or parental mold that simply isn't theirs. Experts like Emma Dunwoody often share stories.
Right, like supporting her MG child's many interests instead of labeling it flaky.
Precisely. Or allowing her projector child ample rest without judgment, knowing they don't have consistent energy. It helps build self-compassion and resilience in children from a young age.
And we even saw examples in the research about people using it for romantic relationships.
Yeah.
Right, understanding compatibility.
Yes, that's a fascinating application. We saw that Reddit example where someone shared choosing their partner partly based on HD compatibility, noting his 14 profile complemented her 41 beautifully. They looked at their synastry, how their charts interact energetically, and found it overwhelmingly positive. They mentioned their 8-to-1 single definition connection, which Rand apparently described as an easy relationship dynamic.
And the key insight for them.
The insight was profound. They now understand why others behave the way they do and no longer make it about me. That shift in perspective, moving from judgment or personalization to understanding energetic mechanics, can fundamentally transform relationships, fostering deeper acceptance and connection.
And there are so many other practical day-to-day impacts people shared from living their design. Real-world integration.
Absolutely. We saw examples of projectors learning to consciously slow down, to not do so much energetically, to avoid repelling people, and learning to be okay even if they don't get all the invitations they feel they deserve because they're honoring their energy first.
Generators learning the power of no.
Yes. Generators learning to say no to things not aligned with their sacral response, leading to less forcing, less exhaustion, and way more genuine satisfaction. People adjusting their diet based on their specific digestive variable from the arrows.
Like consecutive eating.
Yeah, needing to eat only one type of food at a time for optimal digestion, finding profound improvements in their energy and well-being just from that simple shift. And MG learning to truly honor their energy cycles, resting deeply when their sacral energy is depleted instead of pushing through, realizing their energy is meant to work in bursts, followed by recovery.
And that self-compassion piece really stood out too, like that Quadrite 36 projector on Reddit.
Oh, that was a great one. Sharing how HD helped them become a lot less hard on myself, accepting their line 3 past mistakes, not as failures, but as necessary karmic lessons, and embracing their low energy type psychic Pokemon identity.
I love that description.
Right, no longer getting down on themselves for needing rest or not being able to keep up with generator energy levels. That self-acceptance is truly life-changing.
It really is critical. And another user mentioned seeing people differently, having more compassion for, say, an emotionally defined coworker's intense mood swings, recognizing it as their unawareness of their emotional wave mechanics rather than taking it as a personal slight.
Exactly. It becomes this powerful lens for observing yourself and the world, reducing judgment, fostering genuine understanding and acceptance, and ultimately making life feel easier, more peaceful, and more connected.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it feels incredibly clear that human design offers this remarkably powerful, detailed framework. It's not just another system. It feels like a profound invitation back to yourself.
It really is. It provides a personalized roadmap for self-discovery, guiding you step by step away from societal conditioning and towards authentic living. It empowers your decision-making through your unique strategy and authority, ultimately leading you towards a more fulfilling, purpose-driven life that's aligned with your specific energetic nature. It's scientific in its synthesis, but deeply personal and incredibly liberating in its application.
And perhaps the most important takeaway from all this, something Ra Uru himself emphasized constantly, is that human design is an empirical system. It's not something to just believe in blindly.
Absolutely not. The only way to truly understand it, the only way to prove its validity for you is to experiment with it yourself. Live it. Try following your strategy. Try listening to your authority, even in small ways at first. See what happens.
It's about discovering your own truth through direct experience.
Exactly. It's about finding what is true for you, not just accepting what anyone else tells you, not even us. It's about embarking on your own experiment in self-discovery, trusting your own inner guidance system.
So we wholeheartedly encourage you, if you're curious, to generate your own chart. There are many free resources online where you can do that, including links often found with the sources we draw from. Start your own deep dive. See what resonates.
And as you do, maybe leave yourself with this provocative thought to ponder. What if the biggest obstacle to your fulfillment, your satisfaction, your peace, isn't actually out there in the world, not the circumstances, not other people?
What if it's internal?
What if it's the layers of conditioning within you, the shoulds and suppositors telling you who you ought to be, that are preventing you from fully embracing and trusting the extraordinary, unique, authentic person you were actually designed to be from the very beginning?
Powerful question. What part of that authentic self are you ready to start reclaiming, experimenting with, and trusting today?
You've been listening to The Inner Ascent, where growth begins from within. If today's reflection resonated with you, consider sharing it or revisiting it later. Until next time, stay aware, stay curious, and keep rising.